What game character do you most identify with and why?
I would say I really identify. Oh, this sounds weird when it's a game character. It's like I'm anime stuff, but something like Legend of Zelda, like Link. They kind of find your way. You can kind of plan your own time. You can do your own quest. You're driven to get towards the goal in the end, but the journey is kind of open and wherever you want to go. So that's kind of what poker has represented for me, where it's like one big thing where I can kind of fill in what I want to do myself. So let's go with Link.
What's your absolute favorite thing, word or phrase to say right now?
Yeah, I could twist it. I could twist it lots of things, but I curse a lot, and it comes out when I play poker. So I have to say. Oh, I hate it when good players have that part of the range. It sucks. Can't do shit there though. I think that's the most frequent word I use on my stream, so yeah.
What do you spend a silly amount of money on?
I think that most people think I spend a silly amount of money on. I bought a very expensive bed, but I did that in the past, and it was one of the best investments I've made. And so definitely a bed, and I would also say food. I spend a lot of money on food, either nice food at nice restaurants or just like very healthy food during my stream, where I have it like it's pre-made, it gets to the house frozen, and I just make like fresh healthy food. So those two things, I think.
Why do your friends like you?
Wow. I think my friends like me because I'm not high maintenance, so I'm like relaxed when we hang out. I don't care really what we do. It can be simple, and I listen to them. Like I really have conversations with them where I listen and am empathetic towards them. So I think that I would like to think that my friends feel like they have a good bond with me because of our interactions and the stuff that we do, and that it's very loyal and tight.
If you could design a perfect game for yourself, what would it look like?
The perfect game for myself would definitely be an RPG. I really love the idea of doing quests and upgrading and just going through learning curves a few times. Like that's what I've always loved about RPGs. It's just like that start of the adventure. My favorite moment of any RPG is the very first, when you get your first sword and you kind of set out. Which is funny because even when I learn new games and I have new things or I do new things in poker or something, I always love the start the most, where the learning curve is just very steep. I really like jumping into something new and seeing how I'm doing, but my perfect game would definitely be an RPG, like some open world kind of thing where you can just kind of get lost in.
Describe your life in one Twitch emote.
Debated, no. That's the first one that comes up. Describe my life. Oh man, purple heart, I guess. I don't know. We use the less than 3 symbol a lot on my stream. It just kind of that's kind of what it feels like. I think I'm just very blessed. I have my health. I have family. I have a lot of good friends. I have a healthy relationship. I have a baby on the way. Like my work is going well. I mean, it's just I guess RNG blessed, but that emote's not around anymore. But let's just go with that one.
If you could reincarnate as anything, a thing, a person, an animal, anything, what would it be?
A dragon. Yeah. Wow, a lot of this stuff is really nerdy. That's awesome. But no, I don't know. Maybe something that lives long. I would maybe go with something that lives long. I mean, I don't really want to be like a giant turtle, I guess, but something that lives long definitely has my preference. So I don't know. Being human is pretty awesome because you have your thought process and your decision making and your awareness and all that stuff. So I would actually, I don't know. That doesn't really beat nothing really beats that. So I would have to go with human. Yeah.
What do you think hell would look like for you?
Lots of noises, lots of little sensations happening, like people constantly like poking me, kind of that sort of stuff. So lots of sound sensation, lots of beeping, just lots of different triggers. That would be hell for me. I really don't like I don't like busy spaces, for instance. I mean, I've been to Tokyo. I don't mind being on Central Station in Tokyo. I don't mind the amount of people. Tokyo didn't bother me at all because everybody's relatively quiet. But if it's like, let's say like American airport and there's speakers everywhere, you know, like the cheap cracking speakers and people talking and screaming and then whistles and people like calling for each other and stuff. Yeah, that's not one of my favorite places to be.
If you could time travel, what time would you like to go permanently?
I think 200 years from now, just because I think that like the past is a little bit dodgy. Like it's a little bit, I mean, you could do really well if you go to the past, but I wouldn't really be interested so much in, you know, trying to be the richest man on earth or predicting the Super Bowl scores or all that stuff. I would go for something where it's like lots of new cool shit, lots of new technology. People probably get to like 130, 200 years from now, so that would be pretty awesome too. So yeah, definitely the future. And then not when there's like planetary travel, when everybody's figuring it out, and then, you know, when all that's settled down and everybody has their kind of like spot and, you know, there's no issues, then that, yeah.
What is the most challenging thing about being yourself?
Taking a step back and kind of see the big picture and not kind of diving in and constantly thinking forward. Like if I'll have something upgraded, I think to myself, oh wow, okay, what's next? Instead of like being like, okay, this is really cool and enjoying it. And I do that with a lot of stuff.
What do you consider your best investment so far?
Definitely my best investment was jumping into poker, you know, in a responsible way. But when I quit school and I knew this is what I want to do and I think I can do this and I trust myself at a very young age and I did it in a good way, I'm really proud of that. So that like investing in myself at a very young age, for sure.
What was your most valuable failure? The one that you learned the most from, and what did you learn from it?
My most valuable failure was definitely that when I was younger, I didn't really care for money. It was just a tool for me to be competitive in poker. But as I got older, you respect it more also because of situations that you see elsewhere. Stuff that it could have done now, investing, things that it could have done in the future. Not to make it about money, but I think it's like a sense of responsibility. I think that's the core of it. It's like now I have a sense of responsibility, but I had to learn that through failure of not being responsible.
In the past 2 years, is there anything particular you have completely changed your opinion on?
No, I don't think so.
What is the worst advice commonly given out in your field that you think is useless?
I think the worst advice for me would be you always have to maximize expected value. So if something, sometimes I feel like people are a little bit more miserable because they do everything to sacrifice return of investment in poker, where it's not always about that, right? If you could have a laugh during a hand in your whole career, some people are afraid to give away information, for instance, but you'll have a much more enjoyable time. So I think like maximizing return of investment is something that I don't always stand behind.
In recent times, is there anything you have become better at saying no to?
Yes, I've been better at managing time. I used to always think if I like something, I have to say yes because I always have to keep developing. And if I give no to people, then you're harder to work with and stuff like that. So anytime I heard a good idea, I would always be like, yes, okay, let's do it. Or if there was a cool podcast I could do, let's do tonight after my stream. But then I had some health-related issues, and now I'm much better at saying no and kind of planning out the long term, which makes me much more durable and gives me more continuity. And that means I can do something that I love for longer periods of time. So that would definitely be it.
What did you learn from games that you apply in real life?
The grind. Being able to like stick something out. I really like put your head down and really go for something. I really feel like when you're trying to beat that last boss in Castlevania and you just try it over and over and you have 300 attempts or something and you get it, like that rewarding feeling, I think it's very similar to something that sports could do for you. You know, when you achieve something, or it's like running a marathon for a kid, you know?
What is your greatest regret?
Not spending more time with my dad, even though I don't feel guilty about that either, because I had a really good relationship with him. But that made me very painfully aware of how fickle time is and time that you have. So yeah, that would definitely be it.
What is the one thing you'd like to change about yourself?
I like to worry a bit less sometimes. Like sometimes I get like when I'm a bit stressed or when I'm very busy, then I'm not always as good as, you know, to put stuff in perspective, and that kind of bleeds into different things as well. Like if somebody calls, I'll sometimes think, oh, you know, what now or something, even though it's just like, hey, you want to go grab a drink, you know, something like that. So definitely worry a bit less sometimes. Yeah.
What do you do when you feel unfocused, distracted, or overwhelmed?
Usually try to go to something that kind of like centers my attention, slows down breathing, do meditation, do some sort of exercises, breathing techniques, that sort of stuff really helps for me, because I believe it's all about kind of like heart rate and your mind snowballing, and stuff like that fixes both of those. So that would be my go-to.
What do you do when you need to boost your confidence?
Study. Because I have plenty of confidence in real life, so whenever I lack confidence in something, is usually, for instance, in something like poker, when you feel like you're getting outplayed or you're getting outclassed, or, you know, poker has a luck factor, and you feel like you're losing for a while, but studying gives you that sense of preparedness and that comfort that you're like, I came prepared to battle, so let's do it. So from a poker perspective, I would definitely say studying, yeah.
In what situations do you doubt yourself the most?
Boy, I really hope I can come up with something here. Otherwise, I don't have a god complex. No, I don't. No, I'm pretty. I'm okay with failing, so I don't have too much doubt either. So I'm okay with not being good at something. I'm okay not knowing something, learning something. So I generally don't have a whole lot of doubt. No.
In what situations do you feel you have the most control?
Situations that I know. So like things that are familiar to me. I think are the things where I feel I have the most control. So in my own space, you know, like when I'm in my studio now, like stuff like that, like known spaces, where, you know, I've been doing my thing a lot. Like that definitely. Like, yeah. So just I'm good with familiarity in a way, you know.
If you were to give a TED Talk on anything but your primary focus, what would it be?
Risk taking. I think risk taking, kind of like doing something that you believe you're good at, you know, that comes back to kind of like making the jump for poker. I think that poker players are very good at risk management and also very good at losing, because you're going to have losing days, losing months is going to happen. And the coping process of that, I think, is something that is very valuable. Also with like personal setbacks in life, you know, a lot of times when we receive some really bad news or something, I was able to handle it pretty well because I have that sort of trained cushion or something of kind of taking that in and responding to that.
What thing under 100 euros or less has most positively impacted your life in the last 12 months?
That's hard. Was this an open window to say like 10 boxes of Madmonq?
Knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to a 5 years younger version of yourself?
Definitely again, stuff to do with my dad, but also like 5 years ago, my life looked a lot less good in a way. Me and my fiance have been together for about that period now, and I was definitely going through some stuff then that ended up just, you know, being a lot better, also with her support and kind of like direction in that too. So yeah, it's a bit of a vague answer, but just like trust the process, I guess, would be the advice. Trust the process.
How would you spend your life if you had 100 million euros in your bank account?
I can honestly say I would be doing the exact same thing I'm doing now, because I'm super happy in everything that I do, and every single day I am literally just like clapping that I get to stream and play poker. And that's not I have a dream job. It's just the one thing I really want to do right now. And also poker has taught me that if I really wanted to do something else, then I would do something else. So I would take it's a luxury to be able to, obviously, but even if I didn't have a luxury, I would always do something that would kind of fulfill some sort of gratifying feeling or happiness that I would be content with. So at this moment, I literally wouldn't change anything.
If you were given an opportunity to stream on the biggest billboard in Times Square, what would be your message?
Wow, that's a big one. Like probably something to do with like stopping polarization or something. But I mean, nobody's gonna listen to me if they see my face on there. But try to write some really touching message about why people shouldn't, like hate each other so much, or something anti-tribalism, something like that. I don't know. It's I think people generally are a little bit too busy hating each other, or having criticism, or just kind of like having an argument for the sake of arguments, something like that. I mean, it sounds super wholesome, but like I'm not going to use that platform to talk about my favorite football team,
If Hollywood made a movie about you, what would be the title of that movie?
Still speeding? I don't know. I don't know. I'm blanking.